Keith, thanks for joining us. First of all, first chance we've had to talk to you since Charlie Jolly arrived earlier this week. Just tell us about him and how you came across him.
Oh, I've admired Charlie for a long time now, having watched, Wigan's under 23s develop. I think their academy at Wigan is brilliant at, developing, EFL players and, potential Premier League players. So I've had my eye on him for a while, and he's a good striker. He's got great movement, great enthusiasm, left-footed, knows where the goal is, and he just needs an opportunity in EFL football now. We're hopeful that we can give him that opportunity as long as he takes the responsibility for making sure that he's ready. And ready means he's a talented boy, but talent needs to be married with hard work and enthusiasm and a real desire. And if he does that for us, then his talent will shine through. So I'm really looking forward to working with him. I'm really looking forward to him, representing Tranmere and, the future prospects for him individually as well.
And do you see him as someone who is going to make an impact at first team level straight away, or is that very much up to him?
It's very much up to him. First and foremost, it's about me recognising and the staff recognising talent, bringing it into the environment, and then ultimately that player gets judged on what he does on the training pitch by the senior players, the players who are already playing. And if we get the nod of approval from those senior players and the players who are already playing, then we as a group of staff are doing our jobs, because there's got to be an acknowledgement from the group that we are bringing players in who benefit them, who are already starting for us. So he's got to work hard. He's been off the training pitch for a while because he's been in isolation, and he's just getting back to full fitness now.
We've been talking to Otis Khan as well this morning, and quite a shrewd move, I suppose, by yourself choosing him to play at right back. I just wonder how that came about and what it gives to the team.
Trust. Basically, I want to try and build relationships. I'm not a manager who stands away, and I said it during the week, it's not me and them, it's us. And I want to build relationships with all the players to understand them. I want to be able to trust players to give me everything that they've got from an effort point of view. I know every player that we've got has ability, and it was just a question of Otis accepting the challenges that position holds, and simple messages. But the major obstacle or hurdle for me was Otis accepting the responsibility of taking the risk in playing that position. The responsibility was on my shoulders because I thought that he can do it. I believe he can do it. And he's doing it very well at this moment in time. But like I said, initially, it's what we want from that position. And Otis has got a lot of the key requirements. And we're pleased that he's playing well, in that position.
3 wins on the bounce now, and 3 games where you've kept the same starting 11. And I guess you've been in football long enough to know that can only be a good thing when you've got a consistent starting side.
Well, you've got to have a consistent foundation, centre of the pitch. You have to have, fundamentally, you've got to be strong straight down the backbone. We've got a lot of games, and it's just choosing the right time to rotate and use the squad. I've got a belief in the squad. I've got a belief in, 90% of your team should actually play week in, week out, or 75% with the amount of games that we've got coming up, where you can change 25% of, your outfield players, but straight down the centre of the pitch is fine. You have to remain intact. You have to have continuity, and you have to build around that. So the players have to understand that, and we all want to be successful, and we've got 22 games to play in the league, and it's going to take everybody's efforts to be successful. And, we're pleased with the results and the performance that we've had. But I'm now looking at the next 22 games with a squad of players that are united in trying to achieve our dream, I suppose, or our ambition, which is promotion.
Yeah, you're in 8th place. That's the highest you've been all season, certainly since you've arrived at the club. Do you feel like you're on an upward curve? Is everything still on the table?
Still spinning plates. You know, nothing's been established, nothing's been decided. With 22 games to go, it doesn't matter where you are in the league. You know, I think the real questions that you get asked as a manager, as a potential team who's trying to vie for promotion, is going into the last 10 games of the season. You know, that's where the psychology takes over. It takes over a team. It takes over a manager. You know, last season there was managers and teams promoted with points per game. You know, you're taking all the emotion out of getting promoted. Who knows what would really have happened when we got into that last 10 games of the season? I think there's some very fortunate teams who got promoted last season, because having experienced it as a manager going into the last 10 games of the season, last 5 games of the season, needing to win games, emotionally it's a roller coaster for the players and for the management team. And that's when you really know how to get the best out of your players to get the points that you need to get promotion. So it was a false season last season for relegation and promotion for me. But going into the last 10 games of this season, we need to be in a position where we are challenging. And we aim to be in that position over the next 12 games, going into the last 10 games of the season.
And Morecambe, some really strong opponents, and in some ways, 2 of the informed teams going head-to-head this weekend. A great game, though, as a spectacle.
I think they're doing brilliant. I think everybody had wrote Morecambe off, and Derek Adams. He's a terrific manager. I remember what he did at Plymouth. You know, he was there for 5 years, and I thought he had 5 great years. You know, and for me, you know, when Plymouth should have supported him, they ended up sacking him. You know, and I'm so glad he's got his opportunity at Morecambe, but not just his opportunity at Morecambe, what he's actually doing at Morecambe. He's turned Morecambe, who, you know, found it difficult to retain the League Two status, into, you know, promotion candidates. And they're a difficult team to play against. They're very pleasing to watch. And it'll be a difficult game, but a game that we're really looking forward to. And we don't have any fear going into this game. Just a lot of excitement, a lot of planning, and we've got a lot of confidence as well.
Right. And just finally, any injury problems?
No, fully fit squad.
Good stuff. Thanks, Keith.
Thank you. Take care.
You too.
Keith, the game midweek against Harrogate, at times it turned into a bit of a slog to get the results. Morecambe, a different proposition, in a sense. Is this more of a Keith Hill type of match? You get a bit of a matchup between 2 proper football and playing sides?
I think it's a bit harsh to suggest it was a bit of a slog. You can't play Manchester City type football week in, week out. You know, ultimately you have to get points, and there's different ways. We talked about balance. I think the balance of the squad that we've got are capable of winning games ugly and winning games with respect to playing football at its purest sense. But I previously said, the biggest skill that any player can have, or any team can have, is how hard they work. You know, in and out of possession. That's the biggest skill that any team can have. And we've got that in abundance. And it'll be a difficult game. I don't think it'll be, you know, total football. You know, it'll be about scrapping. It'll be about tackling. It'll be about contesting duels and winning duels. And ultimately, then we want to be able to play football. But it's an exciting game to be going into, considering, you know, the type of form that both teams are in. And we're just hoping for, you know, another good team performance.
Yeah, the games are still coming thick and fast as they have been. I know you've discussed this with players previously. It might be a bit reluctant, but do you think it's time to stick or twist in terms of rotation to try and get the best out of the team?
I'm very good at poker. I'm not very good at pontoon.
Well, I haven't got 21 questions, so don't worry.
Well,
it may prompt another poker response, but I think Mark Palios was on Radio Merseyside midweek talking, and he did say in terms of the January transfer window, if there were still possibilities to do business, that there may some be done if the right players were there and the right fit for the side. Might we be hearing any further announcements before the month's out?
Potentially, but we want to make sure that we retain the balance of the squad. You know, I don't believe me in bringing good players in for the sake of it. I think you've got to bring players in that retain a balance to your squad and make that balance better. You know, so if we can, we will do, definitely. And I've got the backing of the chairman, the board of directors. And, you know, we have to make sure that any recruitment make us better for the 22 games plus the Papa Johns. But we're very optimistic that there will be additions that excite everybody.